What's going on, YouTubers? It's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, the show from July 5th, 2019. They were in San Antonio, Texas for Impact Wrestling, and I believe it was, River City Wrestling, which is RCW, presents Bash at the Brewery. The commentators were Josh Matthews and Don Callis. And let's get right to it. What's the results of the show? Let's let you know how I feel about the show as well. So we had the Rascals versus Andy Dalton, Matthew Polomer, and Steve O'Reno. Match itself, it was a decent opening, with the Rascals ending up winning the match, and basically building up their momentum. What basically going to its anniversary. Basically for one of them, which I'm gonna get to more of that when I get to the Impact Tag Team Championship title match between the North versus the Tag Team Champions LAX. We got to Falaba versus some guy named Anthony Andrews for Falaba to retain the RCW Heavyweight Championship. Match itself, it was, to me, alright. And nothing else to say about that. I'll say one thing, Falaba, once again, impressive. But as far as this guy named Anthony Andrews, didn't know much about him, which is probably why I didn't care much about the match at all. So, there you go. And yeah, folks, don't expect this to be a long review. This is going to be a quick review. What pertains to watching the show. I did watch it on Impact Plus. That was I could watch it at. But next we get to Jordan Grace versus Jessica Havoc with Su Yung at her corner, and all of a sudden, match and then in about for a good 4 to 5 minutes, and then Su Yung got involved and this caused a disqualification. And then all of a sudden, as Jordan Grace is getting beat up by Havoc and Su Yung, all of a sudden I hear Josh Matthews saying, Rosemary and Havoc is beating up on Jordan Grace. And I say to myself, you fucking idiot. Like, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck you, fuck that shit up? How the fuck you botch that up? He basically spoiled, for those who are watching, that Rosemary's going to be involved. And sure enough, that's what happened. Rosemary comes out to even the odds. And that's what happened. So Jessica Havoc and Su Yung backed off as Rosemary and Jordan Grace was in the ring. So Rosemary cuts a promo about Jessica Havoc and Su Yung, and then tells Jordan Grace that she started that she couldn't have been invited to the Monsters Ball for 7th anniversary. Which, by the way, I feel sorry for her too, because here's someone who's up and coming knockouts in Impact Wrestling, along with Kiera Hogan, and then I'm in part of 7th anniversary. So Rosemary decided to make a tag team match, which Su Yung and Havoc refused to do so. But what happened? Rosemary and Jordan Grace went after them. They brought them into the ring, and the match would end up being a tag team match. And the match itself, it was decent. We're to a point where we get Rosemary and Jordan Grace winning the match against Su Yung and Jessica Havoc. And there you go. And as I say about that, folks, so moving on. And also, fuck Josh Matthews. He's a fucking idiot. For fucking botching saying Rosemary's name. Rosemary didn't even come out yet. Rich Swann, William Mack, and Tessa Blanchard versus OVE, which features Dave and Jake, the Chris brothers, and Madman Fulton. And the match itself was pretty damn good. In the end, it was Rich Swann, William Mack, and Tessa Blanchard going over against OVE. And there you go. We get to Michael Elgin. Now here's the thing. On the show, it was, I'm assuming it happened either before Falaba and Anthony Andrews or after Falaba and Anthony Andrews match, where Brian Cage came out there, cut a promo, because originally it was supposed to be Moose versus Brian Cage in a one-on-one match, and basically Brian Cage came out there to cut a promo to Michael Elgin for not getting the job done, which he thought where Michael Elgin thought he got the job done on Impact Wrestling. on the show that the way it looked, by the looks of it, it looked like it was a go home show edition with them being on the main event slot. At the time, with the whole thing with Don Callis being attacked by Michael Elgin, with the whole thing with Don Callis saying to Michael Elgin, "You're gonna get your ass fired," and he's all fired up and everything. Which was entertaining, but still. So Brian Cage said, to what pertains to facing Michael Elgin at some anniversary. Also, then Moose comes out to confront Brian Cage and say, "You forgot about me. You supposed to have a match against me and all that. Because what if I beat you and I get my title shot against you and all that, blah blah blah." And then also Michael Elgin comes out and attacks Brian Cage, and Moose jumps in as well. And then Moose was like, "Leave him alone now. I want to save more of him later on." Michael Elgin didn't listen. He starts beating up Brian Cage more with a steel chair. Moose pushes him away and like, "Back off, man." I was like, "Look what you did now. Now I can't wrestle against him now because Brian Cage is beating up now. He's beating battered." So Michael Elgin, later on talks about how his problem, what he did to Brian Cage. And then you have Josh Matthews saying on commentary, he was taken to a medical facility. And I say to myself, you're not in WWE anymore, Josh Matthews, so stop saying medical facilities. Just say the fucking hospital. Now, he doesn't have to say the fucking, but I'm just saying. Just say the word hospital. You're not in WWE where WWE is going to have you say, "Oh, he was transferred into a medical facility." But anyways, Michael Elgin was confirmed by Moose, and then Michael Elgin, I guess he was Moose decided that I'm adding Michael Elgin. No, I think it was Michael Elgin who added Moose to be in the match between Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards. Because it was supposed to be a one-on-one match between Michael Elgin and Eddie Edwards, but instead he decided to add Moose into the match as well to be a triple threat match. And so we had the match, and match itself was pretty good. In the end, Michael Elgin gets to win. I think he beat Eddie Edwards in the match, if my memory serves me correctly. But there you go. Now we get to the North versus LAX for the Impact World Tag Team Championships. And on commentary during the match, Josh Matthews says the winner of this match will face Dez and Wentz of the Rascals. And then he says, well, and then he said, and I kind of spoil it for you guys. And I say to myself, oh my fucking god, this guy's fucking terrible. How is he the voice commander of on commentary for Impact Wrestling? He fucking spoiled the match what pertains to Dez, Wentz, and Trey for Impact Wrestling on the actual Go Home show on July 5th. That Trey is out of the match. He basically just said it on the show, and this is why I hate the way they orchestrate this on this commentary on these shows that they do. I talked about before what pertains to the other reviews I did for these other shows that Impact Wrestling did on Impact Plus. It pertains to going to other venues with other promotions to work partnerships with partnerships with, obviously. You can't be having a live commentary on those shows. You gotta make it feel like this is the show that we're at, and the stuff that that happened afterwards, versus for example, how can I put this? So this is At The Brewery. This happened first, and then Impact Wrestling for the go home show edition for Slammiversary. Basically the same days for this one. At The Brewery, July 7th, 2019. After that, then tune into Impact Wrestling, July 7th, 2019, the Go Home Show edition for Slammiversary 17. So on At The Brewery, you gotta talk about how the winner of the North or LAX with the tag team titles on the line will face either one of the Rascals later on from the Impact Wrestling show, from that Impact Wrestling show, between either Trey, Dez, and Wentz from their match from that show. Instead, Josh Matthews decided to say, from this show, the winners of this match will not will go to San Francisco for the tag belts, but they will face the Rascals, which is going to be Dez and Wentz. But he mentioned it on this side of the show. You can't have a live commentary on this show where you have Josh Matthews, who's a fucking idiot, who just fucking spoiled the match that was taped between the Rascals from the show that hasn't even been aired yet. So, as far as the match was between the North and LAX, was a good match. And surprisingly, the North beats LAX. Obviously, they cheated, but they are the new Impact World Tag Team Champions. I'm like, what? I'm like, wow. And I say to myself, oh, how are they going to do this for Impact Wrestling? From the show that hasn't been aired yet. Well, and actually there was, but I'll get to that when I do that review. But yeah, but the North won. I'm like, wow. Oh, by the way, the North is All Eagle, Ethan Page, and the Walking Weapon, Charles Alexander. I'm shocked they won the belts. That was amazing. But yeah, it was a good match too, either way. And finally, the main event. It was Rob Van Dam versus Sami Callihan. Match itself, it was decent. At one point, you have RVD trying to go for the win, but Jay Chris try to get involved, and it's just Tessa Blanchard comes out to make things even, to take out Jay Chris. Sami Callihan got distracted. Just allowed RVD to do the Van Dam later. Not once, but twice, because the first one, he kind of didn't connect, but the second one, he did connect. But, the whole steel chair and everything. And they went for a 5-star frog splash with the steel chair on Sami Callihan. Took a while for RVD to go for the pin, but it was still enough to beat Sami Callihan, to get the 3 count and the win. And there you go. So RVD wins the main event against Sami Callihan for this event called At The Brewery. My apology, folks. Let me bring you back up. There we go. My apology for that. I slipped. That was my fault. There we go. Okay, so there you go, folks. Talking about wrestling for Bash at the Brewery. 8 matches. My overall strength for the show, I'm gonna go 6 out of 10. The show, it was decent. Could have been better, but hey, at least we had a title belt change hands on the show. Something that we rarely see on Impact Wrestling. So you're watching the show on Impact Plus, so that's in a way it's a plus. And fuck Josh Matthews, he's fucking garbage, he's fucking trash, he fucking sucks. But that being said, folks, thank you all for watching. For It's Not Your Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets. And once again, fuck Josh Matthews.